There are many upcoming horror games that are looking very promising, and in this video, we'll be taking a look at some of the bigger games in this genre that are definitely worth checking out. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting off with number 1, we have Chronos New Dawn. Developed by Bloober Team, the same studio behind Layers of Fear and Silent Hill 2 Remake, Chronos is set in an alternate version of 1980s Eastern Europe after a cataclysmic scientific experiment has shattered both the world and time itself. And just from the early previews, it's clear that this isn't your typical monster run-and-gun horror game. Instead, it leans hard into psychological terror. You're trapped in a sprawling underground research complex where the walls glitch, time loops back on itself, and the memories of the people who work there start to bleed into your reality. Now, one of the most fascinating parts of this game, and something that really sets it apart, is its analog horror aesthetic. This game isn't just trying to scare you with monsters or jump scares, it's trying to unsettle you with the feel of an era, specifically with the 1980s Cold War era in Eastern Europe, where the tech was primitive, unreliable, and somehow creepier because of it. Little details like this is what really sets this game apart from others. There's no solid release date yet, but Chronos New Dawn is confirmed for 2025, set to release on PC, Xbox Series X, and PS5. Up next, we have probably the most disturbing horror game in development, and that is Ill. This is a body horror survival shooter developed by Cloud Games, and while it doesn't have the AAA budget of something like Resident Evil or Silent Hill, what it does have is some of the most insanely detailed gore physics and monster designs we've seen in years. Ill takes place in a decaying rural town of Eastern Europe, where some sort of horrific infection, or maybe even a supernatural parasite, is spreading. The devs are being really cryptic about what caused it, but they said that the world is living, reactive, and dangerous. Floors collapse, objects fall, and environments change dynamically depending on your actions. Gameplay-wise, this is a first-person survival shooter, but with some key twists. There's no hood, and your inventory, health, and even your bullets, you physically have to check them. And as for reloads, it's possible that you can mess them up. If you panic, you might drop a magazine and have to scramble to pick it up while some nightmarish creature is crawling at you. Speaking of creatures, the monster design is next level disturbing. These things don't just look messed up, they behave like living organisms. If you shoot one in the leg, it limps. If you hit one in the head, it might freak out and charge blindly. Some of them mutate mid-fight and others play dead. The devs said they're focusing on reactive gore, and honestly, it shows based off what we've seen. Ill currently doesn't have a clear release window, but the game will be available for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X. Coming in at number 3, we have Directive 8020. This game is shaping up to be Supermassive's most intense horror experience yet, and it's taking us straight into deep space. You play as part of the crew aboard the Cassiopeia, a colony ship bound for Tau Ceti F, a planet outside the solar system. But after a crash landing and a failed cryosleep re-entry, things go horribly wrong. One of the crew members are dead, and another is acting off, and soon, you realize that something alien is among you, possibly even hiding in plain sight. The devs described this as the Thing meets Event Horizon, and you can feel it. Stealth now plays a role in exploration, meaning the threat is real while you're walking around. There's a new turning point system that lets you rewind major choices, but if you want full immersion, there's a survival mode that locks you into every brutal decision. Visually, it's running in Unreal Engine 5 with full camera control and better movement, and with over 60 unique endings and real-time enemy encounters, no two playthroughs will be the same. Directive 8020 will drop on October 2nd of 2025 on PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC, and this game might just shock us all. Next up, at number 4, we have Silent Hill F. This game is set in 1960s rural Japan, in a fictional town called Ubi Sugoka. The producer claims that the series, quote, lost its essence of Japanese horror over the years, and now they're bringing it back, aiming for a horror of beauty and terror. The protagonist is Hanako Shimizu, an ordinary high schooler drawn into the fog, and the grotesque creatures that it hides. She's armed with a pipe or a spear instead of big guns, reflecting her vulnerability and realism. Gameplay focuses on tense melee combat, cinematic fright, and a fog-bound mystery that literally forced one of the actors to, quote, feel her own sanity slipping during motion capture. Silent Hill F drops on September 25th of 2025 on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. And since it's a standalone story, it's perfect for both die-hard fans and first-timers. Coming in at number 5 is Little Nightmares 3. This new entry to the popular series is changing the game in a big way. For the first time ever, the series is going full online co-op, letting you explore its twisted world with a friend. You'll play as Lo and Alone, two new kids trapped in the Spiral, a nightmarish dimension filled with fractured environments and monstrous beings. Lo uses a bow for solving puzzles from a distance, while Alone wields a wrench for breaking through obstacles. The devs confirm that solo play is fully supported too, with smart AI that won't ruin the tension. This time, Supermassive Games is taking the reins, and they're really leaning into atmosphere and asymmetry. You'll sneak through places like Necropolis and a candy factory crawling with multi-limbed stalkers, solving environmental puzzles while staying alive. Built in Unreal Engine 5, the game looks absolutely stunning. Lighting is richer, levels are more expansive, and everything feels more alive. This game will launch on October 10th of 2025 on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC, and Nintendo Switch. Making our way to number 6, we have Resident Evil 9 Requiem. Set 30 years after Raccoon City's destruction, this game brings us back to the ruined streets and iconic police station, with a haunting twist. This new story follows Grace Ashcroft, an FBI analyst and the daughter of Alyssa Ashcroft from Resident Evil Outbreak. She's introverted, vulnerable, and totally unequipped for what's coming. Capcom describes her as a mirror to the player, someone who gets scared with you, not ahead of you. In recent interviews, Capcom confirmed that they almost brought back Leon Kennedy as the lead. However, they felt that he was too confident, saying his character wouldn't fit the scary tone they were going for. Still, rumors suggest Leon and other legacy characters might appear later in the game. Gameplay-wise, the devs are calling it Addictive Fear, where death, terror, and retrying create a loop that keeps pulling you back in. You can also swap between first and third person on the fly, and tech-wise, it's super advanced, with Grace's animations, sweat, and even her hair movement being captured using real wigs and custom-built motion rigs. This game will drop on February 27th of 2026 on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Coming in at number 7, we have Dying Light the Beast. Set in the eerie, forested region of Castor Woods, the game picks up after Crane escapes from years of brutal experiments by a sadistic figure known only as the Baron. This is a standalone narrative experience, not a massive open world, but a dense, handcrafted map filled with tension, secrets, and survival horror at its core. Techland calls it a quote, focused, emotionally driven story, with a tighter scope and stronger atmosphere than Dying Light 2. Crane is now partially infected, which unlocks Beast Mode, a brutally new gameplay system that gives him enhanced strength, mobility, and finishers. Parkour and melee combat are back and faster than ever, and this time, guns play a much bigger role from the very beginning. You'll also be able to drive again, with vehicles making a full return. This game will run on Techland's upgraded C engine, offering dynamic weather, improved lighting, and smarter enemy AI. The game will launch on August 22nd, and will be available on PC, Xbox Series X, and PS5, with a PS4 and Xbox One version dropping later in 2025. Next up, at number 8, we have The Sinking City 2. Set in the haunted streets of Arkham during the 1920s, the sequel shifts away from detective gameplay and into something darker, more visceral, and way more dangerous. The game is being built from the ground up in Unreal Engine 5, and it shows off dynamic lighting, drenched city streets, and a foggy, heavy atmosphere. The devs say they've learned a lot from the first game, and this time, combat is core to the experience. Expect tight resource management, handcrafted encounters, and grotesque monsters that react to how you fight, dodge, parry, and run. You'll still investigate twisted cases and piece together clues yourself while scavenging for supplies. The devs also confirm the world is smaller but more detailed and story-driven. The Sinking City 2 is planned for 2025 on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. At number 9, we have Tormented Souls 2. In this game, you're back in the role of Caroline Walker, now on a desperate mission to save her sister Anna, who's gone missing in the depths of a creepy South American clinic known as Villa Hess. Gameplay sticks to old school roots, tank controls, limited saves, scarce resources, and a slow, haunting pace. However, the devs added new features that make the game stand out from others, which include a new weapon wheel, new tools like a nail gun and chainsaw, and supernatural mechanics that let you shift between alternate dimensions to solve puzzles and survive. The environments are bigger too. You'll explore everything from abandoned malls to crumbling convents. Visually, it looks way sharper thanks to Unreal Engine 5, and the devs devs confirmed there is a classic mode and a modernized control option depending on how you want to play. This game will be dropping in late 2025 on PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. And lastly, at number 10, we have Sleep Awake. In this game, you play as Katja, trapped in the last city on Earth, which is a decaying urban sprawl known as the Crush. People are disappearing in their sleep, claimed by a mysterious force called the Hush. To survive, the population turns to cults, black market experiments, and consciousness-altering rituals, and your goal is to either stay awake or be erased. Gameplay blends first-person survival horror, stealth, chase sequences, and surreal puzzle solving inside a dreamlike realm called the Swell, a distorted shifting world of ghost trains, floating greenhouses, and hallucination-driven hazards. There's even full-motion video woven into the storytelling, giving the game an eerie, old-school psychological thriller feel. The game also uses psychedelic visuals with bold colors and creeping textures, blending reality and hallucination. The soundtrack is described as hypnotic evil, merging industrial soundscape with chilling FMV segments. Sleep Awake launches in 2026 for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. If you want to learn more about what Resident Evil 9 will be about, then click this video here where I cover even more shocking details about the game. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.